Hello, family. Coach Nate here. I understand your lives have been touched by suicide. My heart goes out to each and every one of you in the wake of what must feel like the aftermath of an atomic bomb. I commend you for coming together to address as a whole and not just trying to sweep under the rug as so many attempt to do. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death, approximately 130 people a day. And for every suicide that's completed, there were nearly 30 others who attempted it. I wanted to offer a few words to support and help you during this healing process. Like when a destructive explosion occurs, the pieces never fit back together the same. After such a loss, there's no returning back to normal, only learning to live with this new normal. Make no mistake, suicide can become a family curse, meaning that it has the propensity to repeat itself. It's not something to treat lightly. The good news is that it's preventable. Regardless of your faith or beliefs, there are actions that you can take. I want to first address the signs, and then I want to speak to the actions. So you may be asking, what is the cause? There's no single cause. It usually occurs when there are stressors and health issues. When those two converge and they turn into hopelessness and despair. Depression is most common, associated with suicide, especially when it goes undiagnosed or untreated. There are some warning signs, and those fall into the categories of talk, behavior, and mood. Let's talk about talk first. If a person talks about killing themselves, feeling hopeless, having no reason to live, being a burden on others, feeling trapped, or having unbearable pain. If you see that their behavior and increased substance abuse, alcohol or drugs, they may be looking for ways to end their life, maybe searching online. If they're withdrawing from activities, if they isolate themselves from friends and family, sleep too much, they're visiting or calling people to say goodbye or giving away possessions. Aggression and fatigue are also behaviors that are indicators. And then mood, depression, anxiety, loss of interest, irritability, humiliation, shame, agitation, anger, relief or sudden improvement. The risk factors, when you couple that with those warning signs, are health factors. Again, that depression tops the list. Substance abuse can come shortly after that. Bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, certain personality traits of aggression, mood changes, or poor relationships. If they conduct themselves in a disorderly manner, or if they have anxiety. Serious health conditions that either have pain or traumatic brain injury are also other health factors that increase the risk. Environmental factors, access to lethal drugs or firearms, prolonged stress such as harassment, bullying, relationship problems, or unemployment, stressful life events like rejection, divorce, financial crisis, or other life transitions. And then exposure, this is the big one, exposure to another person's suicide, or if they've seen it too graphic, sensationalized accounts of it. Again, that leads right into previous attempts on their own part or a family history of it. And lastly, childhood abuse, neglect, or trauma. If you combine those two areas, the warning signs and those risk factors, and certainly we could say that all of us to a degree may have been subjected or exposed to those. That's true. Gone undiagnosed or untreated, that's where the problem comes in. Up to 90% of the people who've committed suicide had some type of mental illness. So this had occurred for a long period of time and went untreated. So that's the bad news. The good news is, what can you do about it? If they say an idle mind is the devil's workshop, a isolated mind is his torture chamber. Isolation is crucial to avoid in people who are exhibiting these signs, symptoms, risks. Don't leave them alone. Talk to them. Be around them. I know when I had lost my will to live on more than one occasion, it was isolation that sent me over the edge. And I actually witnessed someone right beside me commit suicide. When I saw that, I was wondering, why would they do that after having just thought of it myself? But I was alone. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to continue a dialogue, maintain a dialogue. Sometimes they just want you to listen. Sometimes they just want to be heard. They want to know that somebody's listening. It's a way of getting it off their chest. It's a way of getting it out of them. So you might just simply need to be there, somewhere in their presence, somewhere around them. If individuals are feeling depressed, if they're feeling isolated, the risk factor increases. The chances of developing mental illness is enormously higher. So if you see somebody that you think might be like this, get in their face. Not irritatingly so, but if you reach out, it doesn't cost anything to reach out, to have a phone call. One kind word can change a person's entire day. One smile can send them on a different path. So if you're concerned about someone, you can't reach out enough. If it's in your spirit, if you feel it in your gut, follow through on that. Don't be that I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda type person. Be the one that sent the smile, that talked about something positive, that just said, I just reached out because I care about you. Not necessarily concerned, where you're accusing them or implying that they might be suicidal, but moreover, just show your compassion, your concern, and your love. If there were a one-word answer, a magic pill to prevent suicide, it would be spelled L-O-V-E, love. And that can be expressed through touch, a holding of a hand, a pat on the shoulder, a hug, a sitting next to, a conversation, caring, interaction. That's what you can do. And if each of you, I guarantee, do that, the impact that will have, it's contagious. People share it with others. That's what is most in your control. Having said that, if you see that these symptoms and risks are enormously high, then action needs to be taken, and there may be psychiatric help that is needed for this individual. But if we look at the preventive, love on somebody. You don't take anything away from this conversation. Take away, if you're concerned, love on somebody. I hope this helps you in some way. Again, my prayers go out to each and every one of you. I pray for God's grace and mercy and peace to surround you in this time of pain and to help you through the healing process. Y'all take care. If you or someone you know may be suicidal, it means they have a plan, a means, and an intent. Please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255.